Bill Gates is famously, ferociously competitive. But in our discussion about the future of the internet, he took a broader view. As always, though, he gets very excited when outlining the technologies that we'll all be able to use sometime soon.
What is the internet going to look like 10 years from now?
Well, the thing that I think people are underestimating is that the shape of the computers that are connected up will be very different. You know, a tablet-type reading device, ability to walk into a room and it can see who's coming in. You can just talk. Your walls, screens will be very cheap, so your walls you'll be able to have sort of virtual wallpaper, anything that you're interested in. You know, you hear your parents walking down the hall, you change it to something else, or you have your grandmother visiting, you change it to what she might be interested in.
Why will this increase productivity? What's the big leap?
Well, the computer industry has always sold amazingly both into the home to let people play games and plan their finances and plan their schedule and communicate with their friends, as well as sold into business where you can look at product designs. You know, just think about how a car is designed digitally now and you can try different things out. The whole economy is using software simulation so that innovation is far more rapid. And way before you make a product, which is expensive and takes time, you understand the where and the cost inside this computer model.
For Microsoft, is the dominating concern going forward who will dominate the internet?
Nobody dominates the internet. The internet's this phenomenal thing that new companies and new ideas are being created all the time. You know, Microsoft participates in the software market. And software, whether it's voice recognition or reading devices or robotics, the opportunity to add value in software is greater today than it's ever been. And so Microsoft has lots of opportunity where other companies can do well, Microsoft can do well. Microsoft's very strong in helping people at work be more productive. That, you know, we are the company that gets up every day and says, why do people still need paperwork? Why do they still need that whiteboard? How can they communicate at a distance very easily? And we ourselves see where software could make us more effective. So new generations of Office, we're really the company that has breakthroughs on worker productivity. We also participate in video games and phones and search and you name it.
You're not worried about Google?
Oh, all good capitalistic companies get up every morning and think, how can we make a better product? What are they doing well? We're going to make it cheaper, better, simpler, faster. And great competitors spur companies on. And at every phase of our industry, it's been a different set of companies. Historically, you would have said Novell or Ashton Tate or IBM or something like that. Today, you'd probably say Google or Apple. But that's wonderful. You know, we're going to give people a choice in search. You know, they're not just going to have one choice. In phones, you know, this phone you can talk to and you just point it at your sales receipt and it can recognize what that is and immediately file that for you without you having to do anything. That kind of software breakthrough, that's why we have our research group and, you know, we're so excited about what we can do. And the fact that other companies are doing some of the same, that's always been the case, and it's great to see.
Is some of the innovation coming from outside the United States now in a way that it wasn't 10 or 15 years ago?
Absolutely. The computer market 15 years ago, you could say the most demanding customers were in the United States, and so if you could satisfy their needs, you just basically took the same thing and sold it worldwide. You did some localization. Today, the penetration of cell phones is actually higher in other countries. China's got more broadband users than any country in the world, and you know, unless India really goes fast, you know, that'll be the case for the rest of the century. So you have to be far more global in terms of seeing what customers are doing and having bright people who work on those problems. And so all the technology companies are figuring out how we gather that customer input on a broader basis than ever before, how we work with more universities on their research programs than ever before. And I'm very proud of the way that Microsoft has done that. It's one of the things that has driven our success.
And you think you'll really be able to stay out and mostly focus on the foundation?
Well, my situation is quite unusual, which is that I have two things that are just so interesting and so much fun. I love software. I think the neat things in software are really going to be in the next decade. But just as much, I love thinking about a malaria vaccine and meeting with scientists and backing various approaches, seeing what failed, how should we try it, do it differently, thinking how you get these things delivered, some of the issues of governance and how that sometimes gets in the way. How do you create visibility for these issues so that the right resources are put into them? And I'm really diving into that, learning a lot, forming new partnerships, really spending a lot of time with the people at the foundation and getting out around the world. And so that's my new full-time job, and I'm enjoying it immensely. And so I can't think of anything that would pull me away from it.
Do you think history will remember you as the man who created Microsoft or the man who created the Gates Foundation?
Who knows how history will think of me as, the person who played bridge with Warren Buffett, maybe, or maybe not at all. Most of the things we do because of the people we care about, our family, because we love doing them every day, and it doesn't require historical perspective. You have values, you have things you enjoy, things you're good at, and for me, these foundation issues really fit every one of those characteristics.
Bill Gates, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Wonderful.